or not good enough. And I don't think you're ever really where you want to be or need to be, but I think we took a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Justin, if there was maybe one or two things that you wanted to see this defense do better and that you'll focus on over the offseason, what are those things?
Well, it's really going to be position specific, and I think a couple spots, like we got to play better man coverage in the back end at the safety position. We got to tackle better as a group, up front as well. Pressuring the quarterback with 4 guys has got to show improvement. So there's a few things that continue to show up, but they did a lot of things well, and we showed improvement as a group and at each position in certain areas, and that's key as well.
When it comes to momentum for a defense that will bring back a lot of guys next year, and also for recruiting, how big is this game today for you guys?
Well, it's like any game. It's huge, and it's the most important one we got on the schedule, and we're going to prepare as hard as we always do to go down there and play against a good team.
And what's the concern about Boise? What's the thing that'll keep you up at night?
Well, you got every formation, shift, motion, gadget play. I mean, they do it all, and they do a great job at it. And I know those guys well, and they'll have them coached up and ready to go. And everybody thinks it's an advantage. You got to coach against them. So unless they tell us what play they're running, it really isn't an advantage. So.
Right. So there's really no upper hand that you have from your experience down there.
No. I mean, you watch the tape, and it's the same. Same things. It's the same offense, and they got good kids running it, and they coach it really well. But unless Coach Pete tells us what play they're running beforehand, it really there's no advantage.
Justin, has there been maybe a player or two that has surprised you, somebody who's maybe stood out this year that maybe you weren't expecting to stand out?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think a lot of guys showed improvement. Huddy up front really played a solid year for us. I think the linebackers, the 2 freshmen, obviously got better and better as the year went on. John Timu started to progress where we needed him to. In the back end, Desmond really started off, played good, got dinged up. I think that hurt him a little bit. One guy that probably played better and didn't maybe get a lot of notoriety was Justin Glenn. He was kind of a key guy for us back there. So it's hard to pick one guy, but I think there's a fair amount of guys that made progress.
And then Shaq Thompson making that move from safety to linebacker. Tell me about his progress this year.
Yeah, I think sometimes, when he came in, if you guys watch his high school tape, it wasn't like he played a ton of safety. He played a little bit of defense, and when he played defense, he was kind of like an outside linebacker for him. Played tailback, really talented there. So it really wasn't a move because he hadn't done much to begin with. So Pete Sermon did a great job with him. To be able to start 12 games and be as productive as he was impressive. Not only physically, but just to pick up on things, and it's a pretty big change.
Does he stay at that spot, you think, or is a move back to safety possible for him?
Yes, both of the both. We'll see.
He stays, and it's possible he could move.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's coach speak right there,
that's
baby.
Right.
Hey, this is the holiday season, but it's also the coaching rumor season, and your name has been brought up a lot for jobs. So what can you tell us about that, and can you tell Husky fans that you'll be here next year as the coordinator?
Don't get caught up in the rumor mill, man. That's a dangerous business. There's nothing to talk about. Let's put it that way.
All right, so you'll be here next year.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Good, Justin.
I hope so, unless you run me out of town.
Justin, thanks, man.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Justin, one of your first answers was that about getting more consistent. How do you get more consistent? I think that's one of the things people wonder about.
Execute better. I mean, when you're playing a certain coverage or a certain technique, you execute it better. That's what brings consistency. And when I think it's practice, it's technique, it's attention to detail, it's all of the above, it's ability. So it's all those things.
I know you're going to downplay the Boise State angle, but it's kind of
it's
an obvious one from our standpoint, though. But I mean, how important just Boise State in general in your career? I mean, that was kind of your first full.
I was a grad assistant there to begin with, and then left, and then came back, and it's a great program. They do a great job. Coach Peterson is a phenomenal person and football coach, and it's the same. You look at the video; they're multiple. They give you a lot of issues. They execute really well. They only have how many ever sacks, one of the lowest sack teams in the country. Not many turnovers, so they never beat themselves. And it's been that way for a while.
What specifically did Coach Peterson teach you?
A lot of things. And these are very similar personalities to, they're in a lot of ways to Coach Sark. Just real positive teacher, leader, and very smart, detailed. So a lot of things, what coaching is.
I know you said so. I mean, it really the fact that you are so familiar with it that there's really no payoff there.
No, somebody asked me that the other day. I said, well, we used to scrimmage them, and they run the ball up and down us in scrimmages, and I knew them just as well then. So how's that different? You know, it's like just because it's the same as our offense. Just because we practice against them every day doesn't mean if we went and played them, doesn't mean we're going to stop them. You know, we're going to put our best game plan together and have the idea of what they do on offense, but. At the end of the day, it comes down to executing the calls, and they're going to be ready, and they'll have good stuff, game plan stuff for the game. So
they're known for their trick plays, and especially in situations like this. But so there's no telltale sign that he suddenly gets excited when a trick play is coming or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to maybe like the poker. Maybe I need to study his sideline demeanor like a poker player. But no, they'll have something, and they do a great job with the gadget plays, and they execute them really well. But people, I think sometimes say, well, they'll run just trick plays. They don't just run trick plays. They execute. They run power, and the passing game is very well put together. So it's all those things.
Can I backtrack you to Feeney?
Sure.
From the start of the year to what you ended up seeing from him, did he show you what you expected? Do more? Do less?
Yeah, I think from moving positions, he was playing safety here for a year and then moved down. So that's how he was different than Shaq. But Travis is very talented, and when he becomes more consistent with his technique, knowing what to do, and Pete Sermon's done a great job with those guys because really they had very minimal background in playing linebacker at this level, and so to do what they did was pretty impressive. And I think the great thing is they're really just kind of scratching the surface, which is good.
A couple things just real quick. How did you take a look at the Washington State film and see the penalties, cleaning that up? What have you done on that? What did you see on that?
Yeah, it's technique. These 7 penalties in 7 15-yard variety penalties in 1 quarter, and you can't stop anybody doing that. I mean, it's 7 first downs, automatic first downs, and so it's all technique breakdown, or maybe getting a little anxious and not playing with that calm, that confidence that you had prior, those type of things. And a couple of them were, we got a hands to the face, which was just playing with poor pad level. Not because we weren't trying, it wasn't an effort issue, it was, technique, your approach to the play, your mentality, all those things, and it showed up all at once, back to back to back, and it was horrible.
And the pass interference stuff, can you take that because it's just bang bang and they're just playing tight?
Well, there's going to be time, throughout the season, you're going to get some pass interference calls when you play man coverage. You got to know how to play through the man to the ball, and when there's a time to play the ball, when there's a time to play the hands, and those are just decisions that we got to make on the fly at a pretty quick tempo, and we made some poor decisions in playing the ball.
What is the story on how you ended up at Boise State though? Because you were just kind of living
as
in
a
Oregon.
grad assistant. Yeah, my Bob Gregory, who's back there now.
Yeah,
he was my position coach at Oregon, and he took the defensive coordinator job for Dan Hawkins, and he called me and said, "Do you want to go be a GA at Boise State?" I was moving furniture. I was like, yeah, let's try that out. That's how Bob Gregory. He's there now.
Yeah, and then you went back there when Peterson got
when
the head
Coach
coaching
Peterson
job, right?
got the head coaching job. I went back. Yeah, and I had known him from the years at Oregon, and when he was the OC there for Coach Hawkins. So.
And that was your first. Was it ever? I mean, Boise State was always known for the offense, kind of the time when you were there. But obviously, you guys had some real.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, you want to be known for offense. I mean, you're scoring, and it was great for us in practice because you had to. It's like here, you had to defend a lot of different things and stress your rules on defense. Some teams that don't have that imagination on offense, that are a little more stagnant, you get a false sense of security, and then you go play somebody who does more. And now you're trying to simulate that in practice. It's hard to do. So the great thing is our offense is so multiple, and you see a lot of shifts and motions and fly sweeps and gadget plays. So it's good for us to test your eyes. It doesn't mean we're going to stop it every time, but it does train you a certain way.
Is it true to say that at Boise State is when you realized you might be doing this for a career or for a while?
It's true to say when I was moving furniture, it's like coaching sounds great. Now, I just as soon as I started as a graduate assistant, I really enjoyed it, and I had played for people that coaches that I just really respected, and how they taught the game and how they coached the game. So that's where just how those guys interacted. And I took a lot of that from Boise, and and on to Cal, and it's the same kind of deal. Just being around the great people. That's what it's all about.
You were really there kind of during their rise too. I mean, the fact that they've been able to do this and stay at that kind of level, are there some things that really allow them to do that? Or
it's a culmination. It's a unique place. Football's always been really important there. It was a junior college, and then it became a 4-year, and then they were 1AA and turned 1A in, don't quote me, I think it was 1998, maybe?
Yeah.
Late 90s. And then so from 98 went 1A to 2006, and we went to the Fiesta Bowl. From 1AA to go win in the Fiesta Bowl in a short amount of time. So football has always been important there, and they've always taken it serious, and they've had a lot of success. They've had some dips, you know, if you look down through the years, but it's always been a successful program, and there's a lot of reasons for it. And the coaches before had done a great job of, you know, Dirk Cutter and then Coach Hawkins and Coach Peterson. It's just kind of been an upward track, and they are. There's a lot of reasons, but it's a great place, and they do a really good job over there.
Was the blue turf ever disconcerting to go practice on? Or?
No, because as soon as about 2 days, it doesn't even affect you anymore. You know, it just becomes your practice field. People always ask that, and no, I don't know about the bird and all. I've never seen that. That's everywhere you went, and that used to be the thing. Oh, it's the blue turf, and then they won, you know, some big games, and we won some bigger games there, and then all of a sudden things changed in the perception. It wasn't just the blue turf. The team on the field was pretty good.
They have the longest streak of 10+ wins per year in the country now. Is that at all surprising to you, and how would you explain them being able to sustain such a high level?
Playing well. I mean, you know,
but everyone has dips. I mean, even
Yeah.
Alabama, they have a longer streak than Alabama and all these blue blood powerhouse places.
Yeah, I don't really have a great answer for that. They've done a great job, and knowing who they are, recruiting to who they are, kind of staying within the same framework, knowing what they want, what they expect, and the freshmen learn from the seniors, and that is as important as anything. When the freshmen are able to learn from the seniors how you do it, and that's what we're growing to. The seniors now, okay, this is how it's done, and this is how you succeed, and I think that is as important as anything. When your young guys see what it takes, not only you hear it from the coaches, and you're going to hear that everywhere, but when the veteran players teach you and hold you accountable to it, and that's where things really start to click.
We joke about the rumors. Do you see yourself as the head coach someday, or you like the way?
I love what I'm doing. I don't sit around at my desk or at night saying, how could I go be a head coach? You know, I don't. I just sit around thinking, how are we going to stop power when they go fly motion? You know, that's it. So
Does every coach get into this profession with that as the ceiling? Is that what they want?
I think certain people might just have a little more, this is how I'm going to go about it, you know, and for me, it's how we're going to beat Boise State. That's it. How we're going to clean up what we did today in practice. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to lay all that out. And I also think in our profession that sometimes guys that do that tend to focus on the wrong things. I'm not saying everybody, I've seen that happen before. We're more concerned with another job or this or that, or where you're at or where you're not at, and as opposed to coaching the game and get better at what you're doing.
Thanks.